Mile High Stadium in sunny Denver, Colorado. Never before has a championship game been played here. Today, however, the Denver Broncos and ran into Super Bowl 12. The Broncos' 20-17 victory in the AFC Championship game continues a dream season for all those under the spell of Bronco Mania.
Pat Bowlen has emerged as a leader among the NFL's newer owners, the Young Turks. Denver's head coach, Dan Reeves. In 8 years, he has won 2 AFC titles. Their inspiration and on-the-field leader, fiery, competitive, and athletic quarterback John Elway. His bright smile and John Wayne style fits this team, the Denver Broncos. Wait till you see that the ball actually snap before you do anything. Now on 3rd and 10. That's Michael Dean Perry. He can't catch Elway, who now throws it downfield. Complete! What a catch and what a... Those are AFC champions. And it's time now for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. What a game he had. The great players make the great plays in the big games. And Elway delivered 385 yards passing and 3 touchdowns and rushed for 39 more. At the Bronco 8. 3rd and 6, Elway shotgun. Almost offside, but the Packers got back on. Elway scrambling, looking, running, diving inside the 5-yard line for a first down. Is he only 37? How important is just... And Darius Johnson come in at the defensive back positions. The throw is incomplete. John Mobley broke it up. And the Broncos are celebrating on the near sidelines.
Everybody blitzed with 2 defensive backs injured and out of the game. They send the ball. It makes Green Bay throw the ball before they want. It's knocked down by the defense.
Peyton is one of the best ever to play this game. And I feel very fortunate to have him here.
I believe that he's got a lot of great football left in him.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
Wilson dancing out of the pocket and throws it away. And once again, with boos raining down, Denver is not able to get it done in a goal-to-go situation.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Oh, how quickly things change. 1 season ago, Russell Wilson was regarded as one of the best QBs in the game. Now, he's the laughingstock of the NFL. This was supposed to be the return to Broncos Mania, but it didn't turn out that way. Now, they're the laughingstock of the NFL, and we're going to change that. Welcome to the Broncos country franchise here on Madden 23, where I mean it's gonna be a regular Broncos rebuild, but we're gonna try to keep Russell Wilson and win with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson redemption arc incoming. And just looking at this team, this is my first time looking at this team. Keep in mind we do have injuries though, like Javonte Williams is injured and our left tackle is injured. But, I mean, let's keep it a buck. This team's trash. We got a lot of holes that gotta be filled. But, onto some of the positives of this team, you know, just looking at it initially. We do have some pretty solid depth on the interior of the offensive line. Young players as well that should be on the team for several years. So, I mean, that's a luxury to have. Because I mean, let's be real, it's kind of boring having to draft the offensive linemen, stuff like that. Of course, we have Sutton and Judy on the outside. You know, young wide receivers to build around. We don't have much depth at the receiver position outside of that. Onto this defense, you know, of course we got Surtain and Simmons, who are cornerstone players in the secondary. Outside of that, we got some decent players like Randy Gregory, who could probably develop into a star, but outside of that, we just have decent but not great players. So, I mean, we could just get better in a lot of positions. So, here we are going into the offseason. And this wasn't the best free agency class. As you can see, some of our signings here. We got some corner depth. Got a decent starting right tackle. But my strategy going into this offseason was to sign... I wasn't going after the star players of this free agency. It wasn't even that good of a free agency. I was just looking for players that could hopefully help out immediately, but also, you know, provide in the future, because this team, we lack direction right now. I mean, we can be good, you know, maybe Russell Wilson, he could develop. No, I mean, how the game works, I mean, he's old, he's not going to be able to develop. We're just, we just lack direction right now. We could go in so many directions. Our first round pick, we could go in so many directions. Like, we could pick any position, and you could justify that pick. So, I mean, we're kind of in a tough spot, because with at least, if we're going to complete our goal of winning with Russell Wilson, redeeming him, we have a pretty tight window, and he's not going to be able to carry the team, you know, like he maybe would have been able to in past years. So we do sign Chris Wormley. You saw Lawson, Harrison Jr. You know, he's a star development, strong safety, so he should be here. Hopefully by the end of his contract, he should be around like a starting caliber player, but thankfully for us, this was an amazing draft. I mean, we're going to get into some of these prospects that are insane. They are insane. And you see here, we're projected to pick Keontae Thorne, left end out of Boise State, which, I mean, defensive line, as we all know, defensive line is, if you have a great defensive line, that kind of solves a lot of problems. Like, you could have a trash secondary, but if you have a good defensive line, it makes them look good. So we're going through some of the prospects. Oscar Yates. I do like that tight end. Probably not a need, even though I don't like Dulich long term. I don't really like him. He's a good receiving tight end, but not a great blocker at all. Kind of undersized that position. But, you know, these edge rushers here, as a corner goes on to there. I'm just going through prospects I like, getting my draft board. And there's a lot. There's so many prospects I like here. Eric Ruggs, strong safety. I mean, we just signed Harrison, but I mean, hey, if we could get a player like Eric Ruggs, good speed, good cover ability, could probably place him all over the field, you know, with that versatility. Max Scherd, elite strength, great speed, great acceleration. That's what I mean. This class was stacked. We know he has B power moves off the bat. I mean, that a lot of these dudes, we got lucky too, because we only have them 50% scouted. But look, you can see he has B block shitting, B power moves, C finesse moves. So Keontae Thorne, a very, very intriguing player. Looks like he, right off the bat, could contribute. He's already a good run defender, and he has pass rush upside. Finesse moves and power. Again, here's Brian St. Louis, second and third round projection, elite speed. Looks like he has decent skills off the bat as well. And I was also looking at some of the tight ends, and I found some ones I liked. Day 3. Here's Anthony Herman. You know, I don't like his age, but he has great speed, elite strength, A, catching traffic, B, run block right off the bat. So I think, I was thinking of these guys as options over Dulich, because, as I said, I don't really like his run blocking ability. He's undersized. You know, these guys seem perfect for our play style, because, I mean, once Javonte comes back, I mean, we're going to run the ball a lot. We don't want Russell Wilson swinging that thing at his age. So yeah, these seem like really good late round options. And also, I mean, I did my due diligence with running backs too. I know Javonte's good, but we having a nice 1-2 punch to help alleviate that pressure off of Russ, I mean, that seemed like a pretty good idea. Here's running back Jerome Walker, 4.4 speed as a power back, A carrying, A break tackle, A stiff arm, good pass blocker as well, and potentially decent catching as well. He seemed pretty intriguing. But here was one of my favorite prospects, and I know Mikey gonna love it. Nasir Jordan out of Iowa State. 4.29 speed, so elite speed. It says great, but come on, man, that's elite. That's like wide receiver speed at the running back position. A ball carrier vision, break tackle, carrying, A to C catching, so he's at least decent at catching. Hopefully his route running would be high too, and he's definitely someone that could be a kick returner and stuff. I mean, you see his medium route running, so he seems like he could be a gadget player, and I thought he was pretty intriguing at that range. Here's another prospect I was looking at, Arkemis Harris. You know, honestly, his name caught my eye, but he does have good catch and traffic as a slot receiver. I mean, he's 5'8", so, I mean, but we could use someone like that in contrast to Sutton and Judy. Someone who, you know, going to be in the middle of the field making tough catches, like Cole Beasley, Wes Welker type player. And we're just going through some other players I like. Ish Waters, one of my favorite outside linebacker prospects towards the end of the draft. Would be nice if we could snag him. Here we're getting into some business. Signing Jerry Jeudy to his 5th-year option. Has he really earned it at this point? I mean, he was kind of overhyped coming into the draft, at least at this point. But I feel like we got to give him that 5th-year option, keep him around, and hopefully he exceeds expectations this year. And here we are continuing with free agency. We got about $9 million in cap. Trying to get some veterans. As you can see, most of the top free agents are pretty much gone at this point. So this draft is going to be huge for us. I mean, we had a decent free agent class, got some depth. Didn't sign a star. I think at this point we were still in the running for Odell Beckham, but yeah, then other teams started getting interested in him, and we just weren't going to outbid them. Like, there's no reason to sign Odell Beckham at this point. I much prefer to just fill out the roster and try to have an excellent draft. And one of my strategies going into the draft, as you can see, there's of course great talent at the top of the class, as I was showing, but this class is very deep as well. I like a lot of players, you know, in the later rounds, you know, around day 3 range. I do like a lot of players, so we don't have that much draft capital. We had the 49ers pick, which is like the 30th. So I was hoping to use that pick on one of these defensive linemen, one of these base defensive linemen, and then hopefully trade our 3rd round pick and try to get more like 4th to 5th rounders. That was kind of my strategy going into this, because, you know, just trying to deepen our roster overall with some of these gems in the later rounds. And here's something weird that happened. You see the private workouts here. I think I selected right here I select Dominic Dale and someone else, but as you can see, Dominic Dale is on there twice. I don't know if we got like double of the private workouts, but I don't think he was 100% scouted. But without, you know, weirdness aside, without further ado, it was time for the NFL draft. And I wasn't interested in training up here. Zaire Sherman was mocked to be the #1 pick, and here he is going to the Bears. I'm so glad that they didn't pick a QB. You know, those tags or whatever, they're actually pretty effective in my experience. But they kind of change weirdly, like from week to week and stuff like that. Texans select quarterback Bradley Ford out of Indiana. We're keeping it rolling. Jeremiah Love, USF. Joe Davis out of Oregon State goes to the Colts. And let's see what the Seahawks are going to do with our pick. Who we could have been picking. Ricky Compton out of Alabama. I mean, we just look like fools. We just look like fools. 6th overall pick, and they did better than us. Raiders, a division rival, select Darrell Beasley, beefing up that interior, and they really need that. They really need that. He was probably my favorite middle linebacker prospect. I thought maybe he could fall to us, but right here I'm just looking at the draft board because, you know, just seeing if maybe we'd be interested in trading up. But a lot of the players I liked were supposed to go later, like towards our pick, like Oscar Yates, Gazelle, Bass Knight. They're like borderline, like 1 to 2 rounders. Spencer Gregory, I wasn't really interested in him, even though he was the edge rusher. Shaquille Brown goes to the Titans, and the Texans select Oscar Yates. And at this point, I was a little bit panicked. I was like, yo, like, dude must be a legend. Like, they really just overreached. They picked him like 10 spots ahead of where he was supposed to be taken. Here in the first round as well. So that's pretty uncommon. Thomas Alford goes off the board. You know, I'm just pick by pick. Evan Bankson. So really looking at him. I'm just hoping it's not somebody on my draft board that has a heart next to their name. There goes the tight end. I probably wasn't gonna pick him, but he looked like a beast tight end. Just pick by pick, pick by pick, pick by pick. The draft is so nerve-wracking. Here's some of the quarterbacks go off the board who were supposed to be they're supposed to be higher picks, and there goes Max Scherd, one of my favorite D tackles, elite strength. And at this point, I was like, yo, I might gotta trade up here. I might have to. So Dominic Dale was at the top of my draft board, and after the private scouting or workouts, you could just see he's just a solid player all around. 6'6", almost 320 pounds with elite speed. I mean, he has insane physical traits, and he also has intangible skills. So if you ask me who at this very moment I was probably going to pick, it probably would have been Dale. Goes Andrew Roth to the Chargers. Jonathan Caselli, who was probably my top corner on my board. Dylan Marshall, who was maybe a guard I would have went after. And Seontae Posey. Now that's 3 people in a row that were on my draft board. But they weren't really positions of need, thankfully. And here we are at the moment of truth. I'm hoping they don't pick, you know, Dale or something, and they pick a running back. You know, did they not have Joe Mixon? Maybe his crime is in the game. But yeah. Now this was a very, very long process trying to just decide who I wanted to pick. My top 2 options at this point were Eric Ruggs. I mean, we looked at him earlier. Look at that speed. At strong safety too. I mean, strong safety, they're meant more to play in the box and stuff like that. And, you know, he has decent hit power, play recognition, pursuit, man coverage is already a B. And of course, we can't forget about Brian St. Louis. We already looked at him. Elite strength, already good block shedding, decent pass rush moves. But he was supposed to, I mean, be protected later than this. So, looking at Dominic Dale again. Now we're looking at the edge rushers. Kerry Bass Knight is looking very good. So is Keontae Thorne, who we were actually, mocked the pick. We already checked him out. I mean, there's just so many options. So many options. Kerry Bass Knight, he was number 1 in terms of left ends in the 40 time. So great speed, elite acceleration. I think he has B finesse moves off the bat as well. I mean, there's just so many options. Now there's Keontae Thorne. He has elite strength, good block shooting, good power moves, decent finesse moves, not the best speed. You know, someone you could probably play around with on the defensive line, switch him outside, put him inside. You know, so he seems like kind of a versatile player. Just checking out the draft board. There's so many good players. James Knight even looks good. You know, his athleticism isn't really like the others, but still looks pretty solid. And then there's Luke Bryant, 21-year-old free safety out of Auburn. You know, good speed, just like Ruggs. good man coverage, good block shedding at free safety. So I'm just looking. But at this point, I kind of narrowed it down to Ruggs and Dale. And I just kept looking between them. You know, this is something that could determine the future, you know, change our franchise forever. And if only I could have just picked both of them. Like, that would have made this decision so much easier. But yeah, I don't know how long it took me to make this decision. So, you know, I wish I could just take both of them. But after a lot of time pondering over it, I thought Dominic Dale beefing up that defensive line was the selection here. And just out of curiosity, I went to see what would be the price to trade up for this pick. So I went to the Eagles. This was their pick. A 3rd rounder this year, a 2nd rounder next year. And they accepted it. So this made the decision-making process a lot easier. But I thought I might as well do my due diligence. The top strong safety at this point was Steven Andrews. And he looked alright. And I could see that he's a 1 to 2 round talent. And that Eric Ruggs was a 1st round talent. So, I mean, the decision was obvious here. We got both of our guys. Hopefully, 2 cornerstone players for years to come. But unfortunately, they don't have hidden development right off the bat. But I think that they could, you know, increase their development rate during the season, after the season. Because they're going to get a lot of playing time. They're going to be out there, man. Chiefs select Matt Fowler, you know, their division rival. There's someone we got to go against every single year. And here we are skipping to the 3rd round. As we see here, this is getting to the sweet spot. Right here, I didn't really know who to pick. But as you can see, there's a lot of options here. But a lot of day 3 projected players. That's the thing. So I thought the best course of action here was to trade back, get some more draft capital to go further back into that sweet spot. You know, get more picks. The Raiders end up picking Raheem Bradley, wide receiver out of Iowa State. We go to this pick again, and we're in the same conundrum. There's not anybody I would really pick at this spot. There's not just a clear option at this spot without reaching. So I trade back again with the Ravens, pick up some additional picks for the 4th round. Go one by one. They select Emmett Burns, middle linebacker at UAB. And again, to our pick in the 3rd round. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I don't mean to cheese the computer. But I think a lot of these players we could trade back, get an extra pick, and still, you know, select the players we want. So I thought that this, once again, was the best course of action. Jay Weatherford looks like a decent outside linebacker, but no, not worth picking at this spot. There's too many unknowns. So we get 2 4th round picks over here from the Browns. Perfect offer for us. And we slide back to the 4th round, trading all of our picks out of the 3rd round. You know, it could be risky, but there was just nobody there, like a surefire pick that I knew I wanted. So, check draft board, and a lot of our players are still there, so it looks like a good decision. Now it's time for the tougher decision. Who do we pick first? Who do we pick first here in the 4th round? This is my top option here. I mean, I spoke about him earlier. Nazir Jordan, I think he would be a good fit right there next to Javonte Williams. A good 1-2 punch, hidden development, 94 speed, 85 change of direction. I think he's one of the steals of the draft. Out of Iowa State, 21 years old. See, we're getting good prospects, and they're also very young. And hopefully Nazir Jordan, hopefully, he's going to see the field. He's going to see the field. Even though we signed Raheem Mostert, my boy Nazir is going to get some snaps. Now again, a lot of good prospects here. I was hoping to get some of these outside linebackers, but outside of their athleticism, they seem pretty raw. Like, some of their skills probably aren't there. I was considering picking a tight end here, and eventually that is the direction I went in. And if you remember, we had those 2 tight ends that were good blockers and pretty good pass catchers as well, potentially. So that's what I thought was the right thing to do with this pick. We select Tim Ryans because he was the fastest tight end in the draft. 86 speed. Looks to be a solid player, hopefully better than Dulich as well. Hopefully just a more well-rounded player. Even though they were supposed to be day 3 projected, like I just really wanted them. And I don't know if you caught that, but we actually accidentally sim passed one of our picks. I didn't realize they were back to back. So we just gotta rely on our advanced AI scouting department. And here in the 5th round, I kind of knew the direction I wanted to go in. Tyrell Bankston is the top on my draft board. He just looks solid. B finesse moves, potentially B block shedding as well. And here he is, hidden development. 80 speed, 80 strength. So just getting a good, solid late round find here. I was very satisfied with this draft so far. Very satisfied. And here in the 6th round, this was probably one of my biggest mistakes. Elite speed, great acceleration, but he's projected to be 2nd or 3rd round, and I know how Madden works. So I know that a player that hasn't been taken like that far into the draft, who was projected to be high, they probably just ain't it. So that was a huge blunder on my part. I don't know why. Like I was just trying to be realistic. Like, oh, look at a great value. Like he was supposed to be picked in the 2nd round. Maybe he had attitude issues or something. I don't know. But yeah, spoiler alert, wasn't a good pick. And I mean, the other outside linebacker, I liked him, but I don't want to double up. I wanted to spread it out. Here in the later rounds, I usually like to pick wide receivers as well, like wide receiver, running backs. I feel like they have more potential to contribute to the team and develop. Enrique Elias is someone who kind of caught my eye, but not really. And I did have someone on my favorites list. I didn't really talk about him, but 4.4 speed, 6'4", Jeremy Reyes out of. Am I gonna switch? Alright, well, let's look at his skills. He has good hands. Not the best route runner, but he's good off the line. So out of Cincinnati, 6'4", 91 speed. You know, he's someone who has potential to be a pretty solid contributor. Make the team, and that was our draft. Now we gotta see and admire our work. Dominic Dale and Ruggs, normal development, but they have pretty good starting ratings. Nasir Jordan in the 4th round, hidden development, 73 overall. And here's who the computer picked. That's how I realized I didn't make a pick. It's our Arkemis Harris, the dude we were looking at, the slot receiver. Good short route running off the back, good hands. So that was actually a steal. You know, thank you. I knew my scouting department was doing their job. And here's the initial ratings for Dominic Dale. Almost 90 strength, 85 acceleration, 74 speed. At that size, with already pretty good block shedding. And Eric Ruggs at strong safety, 90 speed at strong safety, already pretty good zone and man coverage. Tackling could use some work, especially for that position, but you know, his hit power is good. Here's Nasir Jordan, 94 speed, good ball carry vision, decent carrying. Break tackle, we could work on that, but just a very speedy player. One thing I was kind of disappointed about though was, you know, his catching is good, but his route running was nowhere near where I thought it would be. I thought maybe I could put him out wide and he'd be able to put in some work, but it doesn't really look like that at this point. Tim Ryans, you know, I thought he was a surefire pick, but he's decent running. His blocking just isn't that good though. Like, I thought it was like B run blocking. Is that really B run blocking in this class? Tyrell Bankston though, someone who's going to see the field definitely. 80 speed, 76 finesse moves right off the bat. You know, just a solid player. Sutton, he has speed, man. He just out there running. He has speed. His tackling is getting a boost right now, so it's not even that good. He has no rush moves or anything, so he was pretty much a bust. Now Jeremy Keys, he has good size, good catching ability already. Needs to work on his route running, of course, but I think he could actually be a pretty solid player. So beefing up that wide receiver core, I don't think that's a position we've got to worry about for a while. And just looking at this draft class, Bradley Ford, number 2 overall to the Texans, and just look at, like, this is a dream starting quarterback to draft. 96 throw power, good deep accuracy. I think he had like 90 throw on the run, like already like mid 80s throw under pressure. Like dude's a baller with 83 speed as well. Dude was a baller. Brian Farley looks like a beast, middle linebacker. I mean, that's when I tell you, this is one of the best like automated drafts I've ever seen. Oscar Yates, who was probably at the top of my board. He's solid, but they kind of reached for him. They kind of did reach for him. No hidden development. I think I like Dominic Dale better. Tom Windham, you know, he's pretty solid and good run blocking, decent speed, hidden development. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a quarterback, so he's probably not going to amount to anything. Max Scherr goes to the Dolphins, 94 strength with 76 speed. Just an amazing combo. Maybe the pick. Maybe I would have picked him over Dominic Dale. I mean, I do like Dominic Dale, but it's honestly probably a good thing that Scherr didn't fall, because that decision probably would have taken me like 5 hours. But just going through, Kerry Bass Knight was actually a pretty solid player with hidden development. 85 speed as well, so dude's blazing off the edge. It's going to harass defenses and quarterbacks for years to come. Just looks like he has all the traits. He just looks like a solid player. Deontay Thorne, who we were supposed to pick. Brian St. Louis, another D tackle I liked. 95 strength, 70 speed as well. That's pretty good. He needs to work on his pass rushing though, but he's already a pretty damn good run defender. So I mean, a lot of, as I said, a lot of these defensive linemen, just insane. Their athleticism, it's just a stacked class, and I'm excited to see all of them. Keep track of them. Be like, dang, we should have picked him. Just progress and throw some steals here. The 3rd round, 74 overall players. Did I just say that right? 78? Oh, that was actually the Browns pick that I think they traded with. It's Curtis. And they got, Kareem Hunt's replacement. I don't think I showed it, but Kareem Hunt, he's finally free. He went to the Ravens, so that's actually a pretty interesting combo. Him and Lamar in that rushing attack. So Nasir Jordan, as we see, he's one of the best players in that round. Here's Ish Waters, probably one of my favorite outside linebacker prospects this draft. I mean, he's pretty solid off the bat with his block shedding and speed, and he's hidden development as well, so definitely would have been a better pick than Sutton. Here's the other tight end that I liked. Or no, this actually wasn't him. This actually was not either of them, because they were older than this. This guy's solid, already a good run blocker off the bat, decent speed, just an option we could have had. And again, the Texans here with a late round gem, they had an amazing draft class. Gil Ruggs in the 5th round, almost 90 speed linebacker, already almost in the 70s for zone coverage. He looks like he's a day 1 starter type of player. And as you can see, I mean, I don't know why. They were just amazing. In the 6th round, they get Dorian Leno, 73 overall left end. Already 80 power moves right off the bat, or 79 if you're trying to be specific. Raiders select Enrique Elias, who we were of course looking at, and he was actually pretty solid. And the 49ers in the 7th round, one of the last picks of the draft, get Nathan Walters, hidden development tight end, who's already a good blocker. So just imagine him and Kittle on the outside. They're just going to be running people over. And yeah, so that's the draft. Here, that's the Texans draft class right there. Just a great draft class for them. I'm happy for them. You know, I used them in Madden 21. That was me versus Mikey in Madden 21. It's the Texans. So just looking at some of our division rivals here, the Chargers got two good players at the top of their draft, Roth and Wheeler. Just wanted to say, I mean, we could have had Wheeler, but I do prefer Ruggs. I think Ruggs has more potential, but he doesn't have the development, unfortunately. And the Chiefs, of course, get a starting caliber free safety like they needed that. So our division rivals getting better, but I think we also had a very solid draft as well. They also got left tackle here. Other than that, actually 68 in the later rounds. That's underrated. That's pretty good. Raiders, they got Darrell Beasley, who's gonna wreak havoc for years to come. Or at least that's the expectation if he doesn't go to jail or something. 82 acceleration, 94 strength, 73 speed. Dude's a beast. I didn't even bother looking at him because I knew he wasn't gonna fall to us. They got a decent running back as well. Out of Texas, Emmanuel Alston, who seems to be, he's a little bit faster than Josh Jacobs and stuff. So, good change of pace. Because I think they might have lost, I forget who their backup is, but they might have lost them. And they got some decent receivers here as well. I mean, the middle of the draft was kind of some misses, but they did get Enrique Elias. I mean, as we already saw. Here's actually the pick that they traded with us. Raheem Radley. He's a solid wide receiver. Not the worst. I mean, there are division rivals. I kind of forgot about that. But, hey, we're teaming up to beat the Chiefs. Don't worry. I gave them that pick so they could take some wins away from the Chiefs. So looking at our team in its entirety after our new additions, you see Bowles is back. So, I mean, that's huge for us. Javonte Williams is supposed to come back soon. And Steele is actually going to be injured for the first couple games of the year. So our offensive line is actually even better than that. But yeah, this team, this is the training camp, team. This is what the computer thinks we should play out there, what we should run. But of course, we're going to hop into every game. We're playing every game. We don't care about simulation. We don't care about the overall. It depends on your on-field performance. They're going to have to prove themselves in the preseason. My plan for the preseason is I'll hop into every game, but I'm gonna sim parts of the game. So I don't want to spend like so much time, so much detail on every preseason game. I mean, there's 3 of them, and we just see them as like one big thing. It's not. Nobody really cares about the preseason, at least in Madden. They're fighting for their lives, but we're just gonna try to breeze through it. As for the regular season, I'm pretty sure every episode I'll do one game. I'm pretty sure that's how I want to do it. I want to spend that much time in every game, so you could just see everything, so we could be more immersed instead of just like, I don't know, just being like ESPN highlights like every week or something. Like a few games every week, just ESPN highlights. So just making some. I mean, I'm not really explaining what's on the screen, but we just signed some undrafted free agents. As you can see, our roster is actually full right now, 75 out of 75. So there's a lot of players trying to fight for a roster spot, a lot of players trying to fight for starting spot, and there's a lot of these positions are wide open. A lot of these positions are wide open. Raheem Mostert and Nazir Jordan, they're pretty similar, but I mean, who knows? Nazir Jordan could take over that spot. We'll see how he is in game. I can't wait. Can't wait for the series. This was a great draft to start off on. I think we made a lot of solid picks. This is probably one of my best drafts. And shout out to the CPU, because I was probably not going to pick Arkemis Harris. Was that even his name? Don't worry. We'll have plenty of time to remember all their names and everything. But anyways, I know this video is kind of long because, you know, it's an off season. The off season videos they're gonna be long. They're gonna be long, especially since I had to catch up on all the scouting and stuff. It's unfortunate that for the scouting, because I took over at the end of the season, they had a lot of quarterbacks scouted. Like, that was who the computer decided to mainly scout. So I think we had a pretty solid draft, considering that most of the players we didn't really know that much about. So I'm proud of myself for that. And I'll try to get the preseason video out soon. So anyways, thanks for watching. Broncos Country Franchise, let's ride.